Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Today I'm going to make a really quick and simple little layout, but I think it looks so pretty. This is 2 pieces of designer series paper and I chose one that almost looked like it was embossed. So I've got 2 pieces of paper and I've got a little bit left from the inside and another little piece here, and this is Orchid Oasis. It's such a pretty colour. And the paper is this one. It's called Fancy Flora and it shows you the colours on the back, and Orchid Oasis was one of them, so that's what I chose for this little floral piece. And this paper is in the mini catalogue. It's in the January to April catalogue, and I've popped a little reminder here. It goes with this Fancy Flora suite. Now, I don't have the stamps or the dies for this. I have the ribbon and I have the paper, and I now have the little pastel gems, but I'm only using the paper. Now, if you didn't have a paper that looked like this, that it looked like it was already embossed, you could emboss that. You could use a piece of cardstock and emboss that instead. And you can see I've used quite a lot of these pieces. This is one of my favourite pieces, not only for the front, but I love it for the back. And I'm going to use the back for my card today. But it has lots of sort of designs that you would think, oh, I'm not sure about that. But actually, when you pull them out and start to look at the pictures, some have flowers, some are abstract, some look like Monet's garden. They're just beautiful. And I like this effect where it looks like it is 3D embossed. I almost chose this paper with the Calypso Coral because it's very similar. It has these flowers on, like roses, and I thought that would look really pretty. But I wanted to make something in my favourite greens, and soon these greens will retire, so I'm trying to use them as much as I can right now. Let's pop that to one side. I have got all the pieces cut out, and let me show you. This is going to be my main piece that looks embossed, and you see it has that one, it has this on the back. So I've got, let's see, let's pop this down so you can actually see what I'm using. But if you pop on over to my blog, use the link in this video and it will show you all the sizes and everything. So for my designer series paper, I have 2 pieces at 4 by 5 1/4. That's these 2. I have a piece that's 3 by 4 1/2, and that's this one. It's going to go on the front, and I'm going to change the orientation. I'm going to make it landscape, just because I like how this piece of paper lays when it's landscape. And what I did was, when I trimmed the little piece off the bottom, I kept that one for the inside. So where it says the leftover strip, mine's, let's see, about 7/8 of an inch wide, but you could make it a little bit wider, a little bit narrower, whatever piece you've got left. So that's my designer series paper pieces. And then for my card base, I've got a piece of Evening Evergreen cut at 4 1/4 by 11 and scored down the middle at 5 1/2. I've got 2 more pieces cut at 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. I've got a little piece of white for my sentiment and another white layer for inside, and that's 3 by 4 1/2. But as I say, all the sizings will be on my blog. You don't have to worry about writing them all down. Okay. Now, this paper has both Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent, and I like it on both. I'm actually going to use it on the Evening Evergreen, but when you look, when you put these together, you see how it's sort of a much softer, let's pop the little layer on as well. It's a much softer look on the Soft Succulent. And if you put it on the Evening Evergreen, it just picks out these darker greens. And so you could have it whichever way you wanted. See how that just makes those darker greens pop? And so that's the one I'm going to go for today, but it would be really pretty on soft succulent too. I couldn't make my mind up when I was cutting, and I wanted to cut both, but look, that's just a beautiful card on its own without putting anything else at all. So pretty. And it's a really quick one to put together. So I've got my card base. Let me put those sizings there for you again, just while I'm talking about it. So here's my card base, and I've got my 2 card layers. I've got my designer series paper. The only thing you need to check about the paper is the orientation of a pattern. For this pattern, when I cut it, I knew it was going to be portrait. If I'd wanted it to be landscape, I could have cut it landscape, but I would have lost these flowers. Whereas the piece I'm using now, I think it needs to go landscape. So let's attach all these together. I feel so bad not using that side. It was so pretty. Oops, let's take the lid off. I haven't been able to post quite as much on my blog as I would like to, or on my YouTube. I am stepping back a little bit at the moment from social media. I have a lot going on at work and I just don't have the time. So as much as I want to craft and I want to do everything, I just don't have the time at the moment. So I'm doing YouTubes as often as I can, and I will put those YouTubes onto my Crafts by the Bow Facebook page as well. Let's have a look. I'm going to put that way. So I am around, I'm just extremely busy. Okay, now I'm going to layer my little piece onto here. In the designer series papers, there's always quite a busy side and then maybe a less patterned side. But with this, you know, I didn't even look at the other side because that's the piece that jumped out at me. That's the one I wanted. Okay, now let's pop these ones together as well. This is just the piece for the inside. Oh, I'm going to just check that's the right size. Yes, it is. Otherwise, I would have just popped it onto the white and then trimmed it. And I want it to go the same way. I'm just checking that it goes that way. See, once you've got these pieces cut, it does come together so quickly. So pretty. And we'll pop that on the inside. And I'm just using my Stampin' Seal. Oh, I think that's just the end of it. It is. I'm just using Stampin' Seal, but you could use liquid glue as well. And for the inside, I'm making it so that this is right in the middle. But on the front, I'm going to have the designer series paper off to the side. But for the inside, I'm just making it so that it's right in the middle. And if you wanted to make your card so that this piece was right in the middle, that would look really pretty too. I just like it when it's sort of slightly offset like this, and you get to see a bit more at the top. On this one, you get to see more at the side of the designer series paper. But you could certainly make it so that it goes flush in the middle. That's really pretty too. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of twine around here, and this is the pack. Oh, that shouldn't be in it. That's my linen thread. That doesn't come in this pack. But this is my pack with all the twines in. And I'm going to use this one because it's crumb cake. But if I don't like it, then I'm going to go back to the white. I just haven't tried this out yet. Let me just see if that's going to sort of stand out enough, or if whoopsie, if I throw the white, if the white looks a bit better. Let me just see. Oh, I like both. Let's get the sentiment done while I'm deciding. Okay, I've used my stitched rectangles and I've got the very smallest one, but if you don't have the rectangles, you could stamp this and then cut round it with scissors. I'm using the Happiness Abounds, and I just want the birthday one. So you could just ink this up, stamp it on a little piece of paper, little piece of card, and then cut round it with your scissors. I've already cut out the little stitched rectangle piece, and because I've not got much cushioning on my desk at the moment, I'm using my Stampin' Pierce mat, and that just gives it a little bit more cushion for when you're stamping. The photopolymer stamps don't have any cushioning built into them, so it's just better if you stamp it on something that's a little bit, you know, not too hard. Just makes it come out easier. Now I'm just going to move this down because the whole piece doesn't actually fit. It's a bit too long for the rectangle. So I just need to make sure it's in the middle. And can you see it's got a little piece at each side that isn't stamping, and that's fine because it's still big enough for what I want. It's got a little bit of the curly part of the font there. Right, now let's have a look. So I know that I'm going to pop this on and I'm going to offset it over here. I probably still have my bow at this side, just not sure which of the colours I'm using. So, oops. It is nice with the natural colour with this crumb cake. But I don't want it to sort of melt into the background. Let's try that white again. I still want this whole piece to pop. We're not putting any other bling on it, so do you know, I think I'm going to go with the white and do it that way. Yeah, let's do that. Next time I'll use the crumb cake. Now I'm just going to try doing this a different way. I'm just going to try and tie a bow this way. Let's do this. Sometimes it's easier than trying to tie a bow around the whole thing and get it nice and even. Let's turn that over and see how that looks. See if I like it. Yeah, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure. Okay, so where I've got my circle, I'm just going to cut it at the bottom. And then I'm doing it sort of a cheats way. I'm going to pop a little glue dot down here. Let's find my, where's my glue dots? Here they are. Excuse my reach. Let's get this. I'm going to pop a little glue dot on. Just want my bow to be about here. I don't always do my bows this way, but sometimes I'll make it go this way just so that I know I've got it sort of level and in exactly the place I want, especially if I'm tying round a piece of card. Okay, and then I didn't need to have made this so big. I could have actually used a smaller piece. Oh, we know that's empty, so let's just get rid of this. I could use a little piece of tear and tape, but I might as well put my refilling while I'm here. Nothing wants to open for me today. There we go. Pop this in. Pop the lid back on. It's really quick to change. And then we're just going to put a little bit, oh, let's start it off, there we go. I'm going to put a little bit of tape on each side. And then let's take this end, pop across, just so that I know it's straight. It's nice and level. And then let's take the other end. Pop that down there. And I'm going to cut these little bits off. So yeah, I could have made it smaller, but I didn't. Okay, now I'm going to get some dimensionals, and that's what I'm going to pop the whole piece up with. I don't want it to be flat, so I'm going to put my dimensionals, I'm going to put one each over these ends so they don't come off. And then I'm just going to pop a few more on. Let's just pop a few on. I don't want it to get squished in the post. Okay, I'm going to take these backings off. There we go. Oops. And then, as I said, you could have it in the middle. I'm going to have mine slightly offset to the left-hand side. Make sure it's straight. There we go. And then I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this little label that we've made, the little sentiment label. And these ones just fit. I'm going to pop 3 down here. If you wanted to add pearls or any other kind of embellishments, you could do that too. For this paper, I just want the paper to be the whole story. And then let's see. This time I'm going to pop that just over there. I'm not going to line it up right at the edge. And there we are. That's my whole card made. I'm going to trim these little ends a tiny bit. I still want them to be long. There we go. So that's my quick and easy little layout. And portrait or landscape, you choose. Okay, thanks for joining me everybody. I will see you all again soon. Take care. Bye bye.